Hey everyone, my name is Alexis and in this video I'm going to be talking about why the heck is grant writing so hard and also why is it so important. So let's dig in. First, grant writing is so hard because there are so many moving parts. Grant writing requires a lot of coordination with a lot of different people. So you need to be a project manager and be really organized and on top of your game when you're doing grant writing. You also need to have a really strong sense of intuition when you're talking with funders or even clients to get a really good sense of what's being said, what is needed for the grant application or needed for the organization, and intuit what you can actually provide and where you're going to need help with, maybe subcontractors or again reaching out to other people within the client's organization that you're working with. Lastly, another reason grant writing is so difficult is because there's so many distractions all around us constantly. Things that are vying for our attention, different relationships, social media accounts, you got your phone, you have your iPad, you have your laptop, you have your desktop computer. There's all these things that are constantly trying to get your attention. And so when we're going from one thing to one thing to one thing to another thing, we're not getting anything done. We're more or less becoming gerbils that can't focus. We're just running on this wheel and we're not getting anywhere. So it can be really challenging to actually get focused and at peace and to actually just sit down and write and do the work. So that's another reason why grant writing can be really challenging, because it does require a lot of focus to actually get the work done. Kind of along the same lines as needing a lot of focus is that grant writing can often require a lot of long hours, a lot of late nights, and you really just gotta dig in deep. So Meredith has this example where there was a season in her life where she was working on 2 EPA brownfield grants, and she was supporting a third. So for her, it was 2.5 weeks of sun up to sundown. Just that's all she did. She lived and breathed those 3 grant applications, and then once it was done, it was done. But for those 2.5 weeks, that's where she lived, and so that can be challenging too, with the seasons constantly changing, where really high intense work time for this month or this half month, and then you got some downtime for a while before the next really big high intensity focus time again. So why do we do it? Why do we grant write? What is the draw here? For a lot of us, it's because project work is so satisfying. We get to dig in really deep, work really hard, get super focused, and then once we're done, we come up for air, we breathe, and then we get some break, some time, and then we dig back into the next project. And at the end of every project, you do see a tangible result. Maybe it's not as tangible as working with your hands, like building a house or creating like a bowl out of mud, pottery, right? But at the end of that project, you do have a 30, 40, 50-page grant application that you wrote or you spearheaded, or maybe you just supported on it, but those are words that you did. No one can take those away, and you turn that in and it's tangible, it's real. And then the next piece is that if that grant application is awarded funding, first of all, that's a super exciting thing. Like, that's really satisfying, and so that is motivating as well. But once that grant application is awarded, the organization then implements the project, and you get to see that tangible result too. And so that's more like long term, but it's really fun and satisfying to see that tangible result as well. So why is grant writing so important? Well, I kind of touched on it a little bit already, but innovation requires risk. And so all these grant applications are requesting money to do something innovative. And as a society, we are deciding to pool our resources and fund that innovative project. So this is why we donate to organizations. So for example, I might donate to the Ronald McDonald House, and they're doing work that supports families who have very sick children. Their kids might be having dealing with cancer or eating disorders or whatever that may be, but I don't necessarily have the time or the resources to advocate for that organization's work. But what I can do is I can donate a little bit of money, and that's kind of along the lines of what these funders are doing. They are, putting money in places and with organizations who have people in place already to do this good and hard work that needs to get done. Families need to be supported. Or with family health care, that looks like providing affordable quality health care to all people, to everyone, regardless of income, age, ability, whatnot. Someone's already doing that work, and so funders are supporting that and supporting those people. So grant writing is really hard, and it is really important, and we do it because it matters a lot and it's making a real difference. So that's just a little bit about why I do grant writing and why so many other grant writers I know are doing this bold and hard and good work.